So I'm very pleased to welcome Christian Kostowski, the director. We have Brian, who shot and edited the film. And of course, our co-stars Vlad Chabak and Stephen Oliver. And I'm very proud, and I'm not mistaken, this film received its Maltese premiere here tonight at Malta Indie Shorts, and we're really thrilled to be able to screen the film in that context. So, well done, guys. I mean, I haven't seen it for a few months because we reviewed it a while ago. It's, you know, it's quite wrenching. Christo, tell us a bit about how you conceived this story.
No, the story. You know, when you are writing a story, it starts from A and you finish to Z with totally different stories between, you know. First you have the first notes and the first writing that you have, obviously, is totally different how the story will end. During the development, you changed a lot of things, you know, like 60-70% of the story. And that's the point, I mean, until you don't start working on it, the first written words are never the last one. So we are happy how it came out. You know. It always can be better, obviously, but as it came, we are very happy.
So as to say, you started with a script, and then things evolved on set. I guess a lot of things can happen.
Yeah, even during the writing, when I have the notes and when I know the beginning and the end, during the development, you always something else better come in your mind. You know? And that's how it came in the last result. Even help, I have help also of my. They're not just actors and they're part of my team that we discuss about the movie, opinions, advices.
Absolutely. And so, if I could just turn to the co-stars, Steve and Vlad. I mean, there's a very palpable relationship, a chemistry that you develop. Can you talk about how that evolved? I mean, we didn't
really know each other until the
first time
we were in
together.
this. And really, we kind of played around with the kind of. I didn't want to play it as a kind of obvious dad-son relationship. It was more interesting to play with. It was almost like a reluctant father, almost, who'd kind of been saddled with a kid that had a disability and that kind of stuff. But it didn't take us very long, really, did it, to kind of establish the relationship.
Immediately, I think from the beginning we have a good connection.
We got on really well. I mean, part of the process of this was that, going back to what Chris was saying, is that we developed the script as well between us, and there were things that didn't work and we threw away, and there were new ideas that came out. I mean, there were some beautiful shots shot for this film that are not in the finished package.
Right.
It was really difficult to almost know what to leave out, to be honest.
We had a lot of material in the end. It came out, and we was on a way forced to squeeze as much as we can. We have like 2 scenes totally that we removed.
Right.
And we have totally material for a feature movie. You know.
I was going to say. So I don't know how many people timed it. I think the running time is about 36 minutes, which is. Technically still a short, 45 and under, but it's definitely on the long side, certainly of films that we show, because we want to show as many films as we can. But it sounds like you've almost got enough for a feature length presentation.
I mean, the storyline itself could be easily developed much further, the relationship between the two of them.
There was another small twist that we just removed them because of the duration that we was forced to make. But as he said, I mean, even when I work and with my team and all the guys, I'm always open to to suggestions, always accept opinions, always think about, always trying to analyze. And we as a team, it's very fun to work with us. I mean, you know, as well, you're always part of the team.
Yes,
so it's not like very strict. I always try, when you are not under pressure, then you're more creative, you know. Even for you as actors, even for the cinematographer. I always tell him, let's try something, let's experiment something, you know, let's try something different, let's be creative, you know. If it's going well, it's going well. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, obviously we go back to
this is the one thing I like to work with Christian, because he gives you the freedom. If you don't feel in the moment that that's right, or you think that it's it's not looking good, he will do repeats, you know, and especially also with Steven, it was first time that I'm working with someone who is so experienced. So for me, it was a really, how to say, like whole package I had, like support from them, you know, to push me in the right way.
And it was a great script. I mean, it was a really nice. I like the idea. I mean, it's totally against type for me normally.
Right.
You know, normally I hurt people. And so it was. You know, I've got to that kind of age now. I kind of just want to explore things that are a bit more challenging for me. So it was totally against type, and that makes it more fun to do, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, to be.
By the way, Steven wins.
Oh.
Steven wins 2 or 3 festivals in Italy for best actor.
Right.
One in Turkey and another one in Italy.
Yeah. But,
Right.
But it's just nice to be part of a project.
It's just a
you know.
normal thing for you.
No, it's not a normal thing for me. But actually, it's just touching to be in a film that does well. Do you understand? You know, and it's, and it was a great experience for me. I really enjoyed it. I mean, we had a good laugh doing it. So I think that was a very serious story.
Yes.
So we had a good giggle, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I acted as the kind of team translator as well, because bless his heart, he writes his English is in Macedonian English, and I would read the script and go, wow. I can't say this, it doesn't make any sense. So we kind of worked between us.
Yeah,
didn't we?
it
So,
was very fun. It was very nice.
it was great. It was a great giggle.
It was a great time. Yeah.
So Oliver was much more than an actor.
Yeah.
So Dragon, I just wanted to touch you for a minute. I mean, it's really nicely shot. And what I noticed watching it today, we show a lot of short films shot here, but this is kind of unique in that you've achieved that rare thing of you're an observer of this, essentially what is a relationship sort of going through its last stages. But your camera is kind of always moving, right? I don't know if people know that. You've got so many shots where you're floating or pushing or how do you decide? I mean, as a team, I guess, but you're the cameraman and the editor. How do you decide what you're going to do with your camera?
That comes mostly from Christian,
Okay.
from director.
So he would kind of tell you what
Yes,
you...
but he likes to have a moving shot.
We needed to, because the movie by itself, the dynamic and the tempo, it's low in
Yes.
cases, and I wanted to make a bit more dynamical.
Okay.
In a way, more suspicious in few moments.
Mhm.
So that's why I decided, and I prefer, and I always want to see the camera moving, even if it's just very, very slow, but
Right.
it's never static. There is static shots,
There are some
but there are very, very few. I
So
always want.
what was challenging for me also was you notice maybe that there's not much lighting going on.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's very hard to adjust the light when camera is constantly moving. That's one of the things it was very, very hard to do.
Right.
Always,
But
and
came
always
up.
when we make the films, when we do the films, I always prefer to capture the most natural ways possible. Obviously, we use equipment and stuff, but I'm always trying to use the daylight as much as I can to refocus the daylight and those technical stuff which I like in future. I hope.
You mean things like getting up at dawn and laying on a cold beach?
Definitely a few early morning shoots.
Yeah, it was 5:36 something.
And then Dragon, the edit. So talk about the process of putting those scenes together, because it sounds like you did shoot a lot of footage. How do you decide where to come into your scene and
We
where
came
to
up
make?
with a lot of footage. Like they say, we can make a feature easily. And a lot of the footage had to be dropped. And I spent hours and hours on behind the screen, just adjusting the colors. We did like 15 drops maybe.
15 sort of
Flag cuts and readjustments and everything. So the whole project took like a year or something.
Yes, 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
And how long of that was on-set shooting?
It
Like
was-
if you put
It was
the-
split. It was split.
It was
Yes.
split from-
Partly by me, because I was in a movie and I had to shave.
Oh,
So I grew this ridiculous like Father Christmas beard. We shot some of the early stuff, and then I got an American film and I had to cut it all off. So we had to have a bit of a delay. So then you took advantage to film the bit where I was shaved and I died at the end. And I had like 3 months to grow it all again. Yeah. to shoot the last part. So
But it was funny, yeah, because we need to wait.
you get phone calls. Is it grown yet? Is it grown
And it was very challenging. Yeah. It was very challenging. We was filming exactly in the whole Corona process. It was all the filming was in Corona. So you get a permit for every small shooting.
Yeah.
Local council, health authorities, Malta Film Commission. It was the hassle, we had situations when the police was coming to tell. It was 6 people. There was like two and two.
Right.
So is going to be the sound guy?
Right.
Okay, you
Very
need to be next to each other. It was a bit funny, but in the end we managed.
This is great. I mean, we could talk about this a lot,
Yeah.
but we're limited. Let's have a few comments or anything from the audience. Questions, feedback, anything at all. No need to be shy. Yes, gentlemen.
The person that Vlad, you were passing the notes, was that a good editor?
Yeah, he was. I mean, the whole idea was he was this mysterious man on the beach, but in the end was the publisher. Yeah. I mean, it was deliberately enigmatic, really, so you kind of went, who is this guy? You know. But, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions?
Loved the music, the background music. There was constant music, very subtle, very
Yeah,
very
I love the
nice in the
soundtrack.
back.
I think it's
And in general, movies are meant to elicit a reaction, so it infuriates me once I know the story, but it just but kudos on portraying disability in movies. Thank God it's really coming out there and it's portrayed. So kudos to that.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Yes. We'll start with Susie.
Oh yeah, I will say the acting, especially blind, I picked it up instantly. You know, the moment the focusing wasn't there, I knew instantly, and
Because we had some issues and that's when I want to make film, I don't want to be obvious, obviously. And I want the people after the film to think a bit, he did like this, or this happens because of this, to leave you a bit to explore, because from A to B, I don't like films like that, and I'm not going to make it in the future. So, but we get some reactions for close friends when they say, okay, but I didn't notice that he's a blind or something. But someone, like you noticed, and that's very important for me, for specific audience, which will can follow you in the future.
yeah, because you can tell the moment he did look
For
at
a lot
me.
of movements.
His eyes never found the light, and that's how I knew.
I think you had a question as well.
It's more like about story writing. So this movie has a very, very emotional climax to say and a finish too. How do you know that you had you're saying, yeah, this one kind of makes some few people cry in the cinema. Do you expect that, or
No,
you just knew it was a strong climax kind of thing?
No, I don't go with the manipulation of the audience and on the emotion. But it's comes by itself. It's a bit of there is a bit of comedy, there is a bit of tragedy, a bit of fun and everything. I will be honest and tell you, during the development of the story, I'm sure that not even the greatest directors knows what the audience is going to react to and how they're going to do. So I had premiere also in Macedonia, like 1 month ago, and I was because I was seeing it first time on the big screen. Everything was international festivals when I wasn't allowed to go and stuff like that. And now I saw it together with the audience on the big screen. And now I saw a few ladies crying that I was surprised about it, Maybe because I watched this movie hundreds and hundreds of times, and for me it's plain, most of it.
Or maybe they had similar story,
Maybe something get touched them, but I don't go with that point to make them cry or to make them something. What comes at the end comes. For you, it will make you cry. For someone else, it will make him laugh, and it's totally different. That's why it's everyone.
That's the magic, really.
Yeah.
To feel that as a
Important to feel the movie. You can feel it on bad way, good way, tragic, all that stuff. To touch you. That's what I want.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? John?
I kind of have a two-part question, if you don't mind answering. I'll go. So, you're talking about the length of the film. When you were done writing it, and I'm not talking about like the changes amongst production, but like when you were finished and you're like, okay, I want to shoot this now. How long was the script, if you don't mind me asking?
The script by itself, I would tell you. It was, when I write the script I write in a very specific way. I don't follow rules because I tried a few times and I'm getting lost. Maybe I need to improve myself in that professional writing, but I don't have a plan to sell my scripts. I want to shoot myself. So I'm writing a bit specific way, but I will tell you maybe around 60 pages, something like that.
Okay.
In a way, because when I write, I'm writing a lot of detailed notes, okay, and very funny, he knows some kind of stuff. When I show him, it's very funny, but that's how it makes me, that's what reminds me of what I felt this moment. For example, he is laughing like something, and okay, that feeling was like that, that's
It's
how
very descriptive.
Yeah, and I have like more notes in details than the right script.
I get things like, he comes, smile on his face. He comes, smile on his face. Where's this thing? Now I realise he enters with a smile on his face.
Okay, so it's about 60 pages, very descriptive, and then did you end up shooting?
And I always prefer to write with the pen, and then I'm just going to the laptop. And because I feel more creative when I'm writing with the pen. Sit outside, no Facebook, no laptop, nothing. So I can just concentrate and write straight away.
Yeah, I used to do that.
And sometimes I'm going with the book that I write and also with the script. And when I go on shooting, I'm just going to the book, which is most important for me. Then let's say I'm doing the script print just because everyone is doing it. But the right thing, it's in my notebook that I follow and I want to go. So everyone has specific ways, you know, how to do. Maybe for a feature. Now I'm writing a feature, and it's also an art house film, more into a bit weirish, but it's also now. Hopefully, if we get funds and things, we're gonna shoot the next year.
And so, but the question was, did he shoot everything he'd written? Is that what you were sort of driving?
Yeah, I mean, I had a two-part, so I know a lot. So you kind of answered it there, but when you were done writing it and filming it, like what stopped you from making it a feature?
What stopped me from making a feature?
And it's kind of a negative way to put it, but like, what was the
I
kind of
understand.
motivation?
No, it's fine. I wanted first to you know, this is my third choice, and next one I'm planning to do a feature. For me, to be honest, I'm seeing most of these festivals that going around the world in Europe, which you can see the duration limit and stuff. For me, it's not important too much the duration. It's important the story. If the story is 36 minutes, I try to squeeze and make it. It will be 36. Some people told me don't make it under 30, so the festival can accept you. No, I mean I'm going to lose the story. You know, even for the feature, I have script to make a feature, and even it gets 2 hours or 3 or 4. If the story is nice and I think that it's good, I'm going to shoot that way and I'm going to produce that way. Which I think the people needs to do that way, not have like 140, 170, have some kind of, there is no limits. That's the worst thing that can happen, to have a limit in the art. I mean, I know a lot of people who shoot features, and I have friends as well that I also collaborate with. And they are having this problem from the productions and from the foundings, like, no, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. They're very disappointed, like they have very good shots which they think they do the best, and they eliminate them and stuff like that. So I think we need cinema needs to focus more on the storyline and how the people will react. Not just like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Marvel, but let's say like shooting stuff and things like that, then okay. Let's say, we're gonna kill him here, okay. What minutes is it? 100 minutes, okay. We're gonna kill him here, let's finish. But it's not the point, you know.
Yeah, so let the story be, if it's 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, the most important is the story. Not even technical stuff, nothing. There is films of black and white that is, if there's good story, it will keep in your mind and you you're gonna feel it, you're gonna like it, you'll see it again. There is story, you watch the movie, you pay the ticket in the cinema, and then you forgot it after 50 seconds, 15 minutes outside. That's huge.
Alright, thanks.
Any very quick final questions, comments? I think we'll have to move on, but let's give them a huge round of applause.